one thing you don't know that you probably should. When you become influential in LinkedIn, you can open up so many opportunities for you and your business. And in today's episode, we have lovely Marshall, and she is so lovely, and she will tell us all about how you too can become a paid powerhouse using LinkedIn in order to grow your business. Now, what's so fabulous about Lovely, besides the fact that she's lovely, is that she's a powerhouse in every sense of the word. She's a dynamic, effective, unstoppable force dedicated to helping others achieve success. And she's the founder of Lovely is Your Story, a platform born from her personal journey of overcoming adversity and turning tragedy into triumph. Now, the first question is, what's the secret to your success? Welcome to Awakened Titans podcast with Lily Patrascu, mind-blowing conversations with influential business titans sharing how you can manifest abundance, love, joy, success through quantum awakening, quantum manifestation, quantum healing, quantum miracles, exponential business growth, and innovative products and services.
I love that. Your voice is so beautiful. Sounds like you should be like a news anchor. So I got lost in your voice. So the steps that people should take, I shared this previously, is really about your mastermind group. The thing that really took me from tragedy to triumph is I got around with incredible people who connected me to other opportunities, to other avenues, to other ways of thinking about my life. And that's why I call the company Lovely is Your Story, because at the time, my story was more like the tragedy and horror story. But being able to want more and reach out to those people who look like, oh, wow, they're doing such incredible things. Like, I see that you got a chance to meet Les Brown. He talks about you got to be hungry and it's possible for you. But I never heard of that individual before until I connected with someone who shared with me like, hey, there's this guy, Les Brown. He just really empowers you and you should listen to some of his tapes or CDs back then. And this is how you can be able to just feel better. Like, don't keep thinking on negative things. Like, these are ways that you could be able to really help your life. And so I've been really instrumental of people who I call, they're my mentors. I may have never met them, but because of their tapes and CDs and videos, it's really helped to transform my life.
Thank you. So tell us some of your biggest achievements and successes.
Yeah, so I would say my biggest achievement and success was I was able to get to Facebook. And I would say that's as of now, like my greatest one. I feel like everybody's is still have yet to be written, but that was a really big one. I became an employee of Facebook. And what was really unique about my schedule, my success was unlike others who came from Stanford and Harvard. I don't have a degree at all. I used my experience and the ability of LinkedIn to really attract those recruiters to my profile, and so many others of my clients now, I'm letting them know there is power of LinkedIn on how you can be able to attract the right customers and clients to you.
Thank you. So tell us more about how do you become a paid powerhouse through LinkedIn? And is your strategy specifically for people who want to get a corporate job, or is your strategy for people who are coaches or they have a business and they want to attract more clients, or is it for both?
Yeah, I would say it's a combination of both. So a paid powerhouse, a powerhouse is defined as someone who is dynamic, effective, and unstoppable in achieving success. And so whether you are in your career and you're looking to transition from receiving the lousy to pay increases that often that's all we get, to receiving over 10% and more, that's really effective. Or just recognizing that, hey, as a business owner, I'm spending thousands of dollars on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok. But the people who I need to know, like if I'm an event manager, the people who incorporate their marketers and event coordinators, they're on LinkedIn. Like it tells me what their job titles is. Like I don't have to do the guessing game. I can connect directly to them, and things are able to be like very awesome. And so it's honestly have been a mixture as I've gone to become a full-time entrepreneur. A lot more businesses are really honing in and doubling down on LinkedIn because there's over 1 billion users that are on LinkedIn.
Thank you. So give us some steps for entrepreneurs to become paid powerhouses in LinkedIn.
Well, the very first thing is updating your profile. If your profile still says that, hey, I'm Lily and I'm a coordinator, but you're actually Lily, the entrepreneur that helps people to transform their brand into stories, write that. And then that way I can be able to know who you are and how to be able to connect to you. Another thing is, you should be leveraging LinkedIn events as a way for you to be able to let other people know about your business. A lot of people make the mistake of, oh my gosh, I updated my LinkedIn profile and I'm done. Everybody's going to come to me. And it's like, that's not the case. That's step one. You have to be sure that people know about you. What are you hosting? Like, are you hosting events and free webinars? Are you, like, having a podcast where people can be able to get to know about your business? How are you leveraging LinkedIn as a way to be able to do it? And I feel like the third step is right now for entrepreneurs. And the reason why I highly suggest that people do this is let people know about who you are, even while you're doing this as a side hustle. My biggest regret is while I was a Facebook employee, I was doing a lot of career coaching and no one knew about it. I was afraid, like, what is my boss gonna think? And so I got amazing clients, but now I'm having to build my brand as being an entrepreneur. So I really would say for those of us who are new and really thinking about this entrepreneur journey, begin to market yourself as like the cookie lady or the person who is a medulla, or if you're doing therapy, start to leverage LinkedIn now and market yourself. And if you're worried about like what my boss will think, block them. Like, block your boss. I blocked my boss, and it was a powerful way. I wrote a Forbes article about it that you could check out, and it's really a powerful way as an entrepreneur if you want to show up while you're still using your 9-to-5 job to help sort of supplement some of that income.
Thank you. Now, in LinkedIn, as in any platform, what's important is to attract the right people, and then to create some sort of long-term relationship. And thirdly, to convert those leads into paid clients.
Yes.
So what's so important in the process of attracting the right clients or collaborators to you on LinkedIn?
Yes, I believe the biggest one is events. Because unlike groups, it kind of gets a bit messy. But when it comes to events, you have the opportunity to say, I learned this. What is it that you got out of this event? And it breaks down the barrier. I'm pretty sure, Lily, like you get spammed a lot. People are like, oh, you should try this. You should try this. You should try this. But having an event that we both were at and being able to have a common denominator, it really sort of breaks down the barriers of like, okay, well, number one, that person is interested a little bit in what I'm in. So I'm happy to have like a coffee chat. And the second thing is, please, please, please do not tell people I need an hour of your time. You're going to be told no. No one wants to give up an hour of their time, but just say, hey, let's connect for 15 minutes to talk about this event. I missed this point. Did you get some insights on it? And then you will notice that 15 minutes can easily turn into an hour of conversation. But being able to just say, like, for the 15 minutes, like empowerment chat or coffee chat, that's a much better way of like lowering the barrier to interest.
Thank you. Now, one thing that I found quite interesting is that wherever you're going, whether you're going to a physical event or whether you are on LinkedIn or whether you're on Facebook, anywhere you go, online or in person, you have to look good, because when you look great, what happens is that you attract a different caliber of entrepreneurs to you and a different type of collaborations to you. Of course, if you have, the products and the services and the other things to kind of back them up, that can go a lot further. But that in that initial instance, it's so important to look really great and to be branded right, so people are very clear about what you do and how what you do can help them. Now, tell me more about what you feel about this particular thing. Like, how can entrepreneurs make sure they come off in the right light that will enable them to become a highly paid powerhouse and to bring the right leads to them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you speak about it very often. So I came from Facebook. We do not dress up at Facebook. We wear t-shirts. Like, it's the culture of what we are. I personally had to hire a brand stylist to help me get the appropriate clothing so that way I could look the part. Because again, yes, everyone is judging you. They are like, in order for you to become a paid powerhouse, people have to pay you. And so they are going to be like, okay, well, who is this person who says they can do this dynamic thing, but they look like they just roll out of bed? And unfortunately, people do judge a book by its cover, and first impressions are sometimes that's all you get. So what I believe is the first way of dressing yourself is when we talked about your LinkedIn profile. What does your LinkedIn profile have? Like, the dynamic thing Lily has, she has this great background. And that's a great way for you to market yourself. On LinkedIn, they have a cover of where you have your profile picture, but in that cover, you could talk about everything that you do, like as a snippet. Like, if they're not going to read anything further, that you could be able to say, I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a writer, I do these amazing things, or I help build your website, and then click on here for my portfolio. I don't need to go any further, but that picture, like we say, picture says 1,000 words. And what will your picture say? That's a powerful way of being able to leverage LinkedIn. And not enough people use the cover background as a way to speak for you. Like, you might not be able to book a call with every single person, but simply having the LinkedIn profile, if I go from my event and then we're commenting, and then people are like, just check out Lovely a little bit. And then they go to my profile and they're like, okay, career accelerator. What does that mean? Like, who is she? So it's an interesting way for people to get to know more about you, because that's the first thing that they're going to do. They're going to check you out. So I highly recommend for people to pay someone to get their background, that picture really speaking to what your messaging is, because that's a powerful way of like people being able to know who you are.
Thank you. What's the best way to nurture great relationships with entrepreneurs on LinkedIn who desire as your clients or collaborators? Is it through free events? Is it another strategy that you?
Yeah. So yes, one of the things that I feel like is the best way is hosting your own free event. Another way that people do not take enough credit of is articles. articles on LinkedIn is a powerful way for you to establish yourself as a thought leader. And you don't have to give away things for free. It simply could be if you are a person who is a website developer. It could be, today I'm going to give you one tip in website development. And hey, if you thought this was interesting, for more tips, come to my event. And then after the event, if you thought this was, confusing and you need some additional help, now connect with me for a call and we'll be happy to do it. So you literally allowed them to get some interest because you did an article. And then that article invited them to an event. And then from that event, they booked a call from you, because people first need to know who you are. So they're knowing who you are through the articles. They then need to like you, and they'll get that personality from your events that you hosted. And now they're like, I can trust this person. Let me get on a call with them and let's be able to buy them. And I think that not enough people use articles enough as a way to do it. And if you look at various things like, hey, how to grow your career, or how to grow your business, how do I go live on this particular platform? LinkedIn is a powerful way for SEO purposes on how your business could even be used. So articles are something that, guess what? They're never deleted. Unlike a video that they'll say, oh, this violates community properties, 9 times out of 10, articles are a great way that lives forever. So even for 2 years down the line, if people are looking for things, you could be like, they publish this article, and you will be surprised that people will say, I found you because of an article that you published. So I definitely think that the 3 biggest things to do is, number 1, create articles. The second one is hosting your own event. And then the third one is attending other people's events, but being active in the comments, being able to share your insights and things, not your business. Like, just share your insights. I was pretty sure, like, Lily, you have attended events and people always are like, follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me. And it's like, well, why am I following you? What do you have to offer to me? So by being subtle about it in the comments, and even like if you're on a Zoom chat and you're like, this was really great insights, your name is still popping up, but it's not popping up of someone who's coming off as salesy.
Thank you. I love what you said. And to add to what you said, I think the focus needs to be on, how do I add value? And even I think if you don't even ask them to follow or to subscribe, they will, because they find enough value in what you actually said. Secondly, for your articles, if you keyword them in a way that, if you give them a title that is keyword rich, that is based on something that thousands of people search on Google, then there is a possibility that people will type that and they will land on your LinkedIn article. And then that could work really well to take people to your LinkedIn profile, and from then on to explore more of what you do, and then to connect with you. And even if they were not initially aware of your presence, now they are. Now they're following you, and now they're starting to build this relationship with you. Now, one important thing that I've noticed, because I've recently been suspended by LinkedIn and one interesting that I've noticed is that you have this strategy of, let's say, okay, you produce really amazing content, you share great value, and then one important thing that I would do differently if I knew this, years ago, what I would have done differently is to have a better strategy to get people from LinkedIn onto my email or onto my, SMS database. And I think that's an important thing, but it's not just about getting them there. It's about literally giving them so much value that they desire, they are keen to be on your email list or marketing list, because you're giving them so much value, so much so that it doesn't feel like a spamming exercise. It's not about, okay, let's share contact details, let's connect. And because people really will unsubscribe if you do that. Right? So I wonder whether, for example, first, what's the best way to leverage events in order to build a paid powerhouse brand?
Mhm.
Where is it in terms of frequency? Is it that you should do an event of, I don't know, 30 minutes or 60 minutes every day? Is it that you should do it once a week or once a month? Or what is the frequency that you recommend in terms of doing events? Should these events be online only, or is it a mixture? And
Mhm.
how do you get people from your events on LinkedIn onto your list where they are going to start connecting with you better and
Yeah.
getting to know you better?
Yeah, I mean, very, very great points. So, the first thing that you can do is LinkedIn has the capability of on not only your page, your company page, but also on your personal page where it says, visit my website or join my mailing list. Like, as soon as under your profile, it's like your profile picture, your power statement. They call it a headliner, but that's your power statement of like, why do I want to do business with you? And then immediately under it, it's where you can have your website button at. And so for me, mine says empowerment starts here. I didn't want people to just visit my website. I wanted them to know that empowerment starts here. So that's a prominent place on LinkedIn where people can be able to do it. So let's at least state that. Like, so that's not a spammy way because they will visit your website. On your website, if you have it set up correctly, then they enter their information of being able to be on your mailing list so they're not being unsubscribed. But in terms of events purposes, I highly suggest doing it once a week, and I have often been doing this more. So, a lot of us want to be able to have clients. Unfortunately, as starting out as new entrepreneurs, no one knows who you are. So I say go to networking events so they can know who you are. And I believe it's a combination of both. Like today, this is a networking event. Being a part of a podcast is an event where you get to know people. I'm learning about Lily. I followed her on all social medias. And so I was able to like, wow, like this woman is doing amazing things. And I am now going to be able to actively be in her comments. So as she posts things, people can be able to know like who is Lovely because I am providing insights on what she had. Maybe someone who you know has a bigger audience than you, but you want to allow them to also be able to be a part of you. So you could simply say like Lily post something about being an author. And then I can say like, that's incredible. Congratulations on being able to have your book. Did you know on LinkedIn that you could be able to leverage this book and put yourself as a published author? Make sure you update that. So I'm not stealing away from Lily. I'm also adding value to clients of like Lily allowed them the success of being an author. Now we're going to ensure that they can have all of their audiences from Meta Business Suite, Facebook, and LinkedIn of being able to have that. So it's a matter of also being connected to the right people and how you leverage your comments as a way to show value of it. So I provided them a little tip and then it's like, hey, they can connect with Lovely or they don't have to, but maybe someone else who likes this post because they want to become a published author themselves. And they're like, wow, you know what? I want to connect with Lovely because I want to learn more about how can I leverage my event on LinkedIn on how to be able to do things. So keeping up with the author piece. In terms of events, yes, you can do events in person, like the local library. You will be surprised, especially here in the United States, you can connect with the library for free, where they will publish your information on their website to say that our local author is coming here to be able to provide her free book. So that's an in-person event. However, because it's in person, not as many people would come there. You could also, as an author, do an event where you're doing it online and it's, hey, let's have a feedback session of chapter 2. And everyone, we want to hear you all's discussion. What did you learn? What can be able to do? Because we're writing our sequel to this book. And it's a great way for you to get feedback. You're telling yourself about the book. You're being able to garner interest of it. So that way you can be able to sell it. And like, hey, if you just were joining in and you haven't bought my book, here's my QR code to go to this, or, if you want to have the action plan. So I definitely believe that in-person events and online events are powerful. And another powerful way to grow your business that LinkedIn is doing a lot more of, it's podcasts. Podcast is a powerful way to leverage an event as a way for people to know about your business, so that way you can get clients through podcasts.
Thank you. Now, in terms of closing deals with your desired clients on LinkedIn, what's your approach there?
Yeah. So my approach is honestly asking questions. I think that the greatest thing about politicians is that they never tell you what they're going to do. They ask you a question to spark an emotion. In America, they have these infomercials, and it's in the morning, late at night, in the evening. It doesn't matter. But it always starts like this. Do you worry about if your job is going to be available? And you're like, yes, I do. I do worry about that. Do you want to be able to provide for your families and your kids' college? I absolutely do. Do you still believe in the American dream? I do. I do believe in that. Well, vote now for Lily. And it's like, wait, what? You didn't tell me anything, but now you're telling me a call to action. So I do those things too. Like in terms of my career coaching, I say, are you a person who is afraid of layoffs? Yeah, that's something that I worry about. When was the last time that you received a promotion? Oh wow, it's been a while. If you desire to be able to have an extra $50,000 in the bank, I believe that everyone should be able to be empowered. And I believe that every person should have that opportunity to ensure that they have success. Would you like that person to be you? Why, yes, that is me. Well, I have a career coaching program that I have helped other individuals to do that. Would you like to enroll? So you're not like doing it to where you're like, you need to connect with me. You need to do it. You need to, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. It's more of understanding their emotions of, hey, I desire something. And I might not even be able to tell you exactly what it is, but I do understand my feelings. I understand how it's making me feel. And that has been a way for me to get a lot of the closing, because I ended up, hey, I know you want this, and here's what I can be able to do to offer you this, so that way you achieve your goal. Because it's not about what I can do, it's about what you want for yourself, your family, your career.
Thank you. What do you feel happens if you skip the step of mentioning the emotional triggers?
What do I think will happen? I believe when I first started, I was like, I don't want to be able to say this. So I would be like, thank you so much, everybody, for your time. Connect with me on LinkedIn, and if you have any further questions. And so I did that as a way for people to see through LinkedIn that, wow, she really does provide a lot of insights, because the first thing that people do, just like how I said with you, I learned about Lily, and I was like, please send me all of your socials, because I wanted to learn more about her. So I was like scrolling through her profile. That's what most people do. And that's a good way of finding out ways that they could be able to like you. Another thing that we talked about is with the website. So maybe that person says not yet. Even if I ask them those questions, they're like, not yet. Well, what you could be able to do is, did you find this information valuable and you want to be able to learn more insights? Well, you could be able to connect with me on LinkedIn. Come to my subscription list, where we are the, champions of tomorrow. And it's like, okay, I like that. Like, so no pressure, but by me sending out those monthly emails, by me being able to show up and posting about, wow, I went to this event and here's what I learned and here's how this is important for your business, then it's a way for people to be like, hey, I know I wasn't ready last week, but I actually am ready now. And I want to be able to leverage it. I see how people are engaging with your content. I see how you're showing up, and I want to be able to get to there as well.
Thank you. What are the top ways for entrepreneurs to get more people from LinkedIn onto their mailing list?
Yeah, I feel like for myself, the top ways that I have done it is through the events, and also from other people. The number one thing that we didn't mention, and I'm certain many of us in the early journey, we fail to ask people for referrals. The one thing that I do too is like, do you know someone who also could benefit from this class? Let them know about it. I'm going to be here next week and they can be able to get value out of this as well. And so it then becomes, this is a conversation, and I went to Lovely's masterclass and I learned XYZ things. That's a great way for us to be able to ensure that people can know more about us. Even if they themselves didn't subscribe to our class or become a customer, because they show the value to other people, that referral is very powerful. And I don't think enough of us do that. So outside of making sure your LinkedIn profile has your website, outside of the events, once you are connecting, even networking or podcast, how can you refer people? So what Lily did that I thought was very powerful is, before I connected with her, they have a booking and it says, refer 5 people to this podcast. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's great. Like that's the minimum required, that I have to tell 5 people about this podcast that they could be able to have. And I am not even kidding. People then went and listened to it and they were like, oh yeah, I listened to this and I've always had it in my heart to be an author. And I was like, are you serious? I didn't even know that about you. So I love that. And I told my team, like, I need to put that as a part of mine. Like, who are 5 people you want to refer to this class about? Like, who do you want to share this with? That's so powerful. Like, and we don't do enough of that. But now she has 5 new customers that she can be able to reach out to, share her podcast with. And of course, we're going to follow her on social, because we want to be sure, like, when does my post come out? And I want to be able to share it and collaborate with her. So I really thought that that was just so valuable. And that's real time of what you could be able to do.
Thank you. How can entrepreneurs go from ghosted to deals closed on LinkedIn?
How can entrepreneurs go from what to what?
Ghosted. You know, like when you make a proposal to someone you want to do business with and you love them and they love you, and then you make the proposal and then you're ghosted. So how do you go from being ghosted to closing more deals more frequently on LinkedIn?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I will say I learned this from my time at being at Facebook. There is this thing called conversion rate, and it doesn't matter how effective you are. Apple is a huge brand, and even they have a problem with conversion rates, because people will come into the store and they're like, oh, I'm going to get a new iPhone today. And then they're like, I don't think this is the right time. I thought maybe I had an upgrade and it's not available, so I'll come back another time. What Apple is very effective at is that they have other people marketing for them. I myself have rarely seen an Apple commercial, but I've seen a T-Mobile commercial. I've seen an AT&T commercial. I've seen, like, so many companies will market for the iPhone on their behalf. And they'll say, you could get the new iPhone on us and connect with Apple. And I'm like, oh, I actually forgot about that. Like, I forgot that I was going to get this, but now that T-Mobile is offering this deal, I can still get the iPhone, but I can get it through T-Mobile. And I think a powerful way to do that is testimonials. We don't use enough of those for people to really know, because I can say a million times, hey, I'm the best person to get you with LinkedIn. Well, that's great, lovely, but I know 5 other people who said that same thing. But being able to say exactly like, hey, I have a friend who works at Google and they were my client and we were in this together and I helped them to go from unknown to unforgettable. And she says, hey, when I met with Lovely, I wasn't sure, and we did our mock interviews, and she made me feel so empowered. So you're being able to tell you, okay, not only does she make me feel good, there's something in the program that I know that I need because I need interviewing. But I also have someone, when I go to that person's profile, I can see that they actually work at Google. Like, there's no one on LinkedIn that can literally say, like, worked at Google and I worked at Facebook. Like, you have to be verified to have those high companies, like you have to be verified for it. And so to be able to say that, like, wow, this person is legit, that is a powerful way to ensure that you like don't go ghosting. And another thing is follow up. People forget. Like, Lily texted me and I was driving and I'm like, oh, I need to reach back out to her. But I forgot because then I went to another event and then I have a husband. And so it's different things that people forget. So if they are ghosting you, follow up. You will be surprised what can happen by a follow up. Like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot. Are you ready to talk now? Well, yeah, I am. Like, so I would like for you to be my financial advisors, and here is everything that I need. So the power of follow up, which is why, again, we want to get them on our website. We want to invite them to our events. The way that they can continue to see us over and over and over again is a great way to ensure that we don't have those people who ghost us.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential business titans, providing you with the insights to awaken to your full potential so you can get paid to be yourself, find true happiness, and manifest anything you desire.